Welcome back to Bandwagon fans. This is Jeff, and tonight I'll be reviewing The Invisible Man. But first, I'd like to invite you to subscribe to this channel, and if you like what you're seeing, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button, and most importantly, share this video. I do enjoy seeing these movies and coming back to tell you about them, and the more of you that are watching, the funner it is for me. And if you want to hear more, you can catch me on the What the What podcast, where I get together with friends of this show, Scott Grissell and Renee Bibby, and we talk about media and culture from a variety of perspectives. You can catch us on any of your preferred podcatchers. All right, The Invisible Man is a 2020 horror, sci-fi, mystery thriller movie written and directed by Leigh Whannell. It comes to us from Universal and Blumhouse and would have been the third or maybe fourth movie in the Dark Universe, but was reconfigured after the colossal failure of The Mummy, which means we finally have something good that came out of The Mummy. This iteration of the horror staple stars Elizabeth Moss as Cecilia Cass, wife to a world-famous optics inventor, Adrian Griffin, who is played here by Oliver Jackson Cohen. The movie opens with Cecilia fleeing the house shared with Adrian and going into hiding, only to find out weeks later that Adrian committed suicide and left her with $5 million. But is he really dead? Someone continues to torment Cecilia and the family that took her in, James and Sidney Lanier, played by Aldous Hodge and Storm Reed. The fact that this tormentor can't be seen leads everyone to doubt Cecilia as she finds herself in a downward spiral of gaslighting and increasingly dangerous consequences for those around her. There's a lot of praise going around for this movie, and it's well deserved. From the opening scene, Moss owns this film. We first see her in bed with Adrian, and everything from her breathing to her trembling to the way the camera pans in and out of shadows to focus on empty spaces ratchets up the tension brilliantly. The first 5 minutes are some of the best suspense in any movie of this century, and the brilliance is carried out through the first two acts. The sound design is also amazing, definitely using silence to build tension, similar to what was done in A Quiet Place, to using blaring sound effects to create a feeling of disorientation the same way that Uncut Gems did. I spent much of the first hour or so just holding my breath in anticipation of something happening. Invisible Man is a great example of how to do horror right and a perfect antithesis to The Mummy. I remember when The Mummy came out, I and many other people kept saying that it was a waste of a budget and they should just bring in Blumhouse to make all of the Universal monster movies. Spoiler alert, I was right. The budget for The Invisible Man is about $7 million versus $125 million for The Mummy, and I'm pretty sure which movie will end up making more money. Turns out, with less money, filmmakers put less on the screen, and in horror, less is more. True horror comes from what you don't see, not what you do. There's a camera pan early in the film that goes from Moss to an empty hall, lingers there, then goes back to Moss, and it's terrifying. Much more effective than the whirling dervish of simulated dust particles that was The Mummy. The Invisible Man is an instant classic and a near-perfect movie. The only thing keeping it from getting a 10 from me is the third act, in which all of the inventiveness of the first two acts is set aside for special effects-laden scenes that have all of the plot beats of a slasher movie. We see some of this in the trailer, and I wish someone had made a rule that there would be no guns in this movie. Not that I'm opposed to guns, but the use of them here became a cop-out that ended up avoiding the inventiveness and the creativity from earlier in the film. Overall, 8 out of 10 for The Invisible Man. Best movie of the year so far. I was really looking forward to this one, and I'm glad to report that it didn't disappoint. I'm looking forward to watching this at home some night with a fire going, and I'll be spreading out flour all over the floor around my couch, just in case. Hope you enjoyed my discussion of The Invisible Man. Leave a comment below what you thought about the movie. You can follow me on Twitter at VBWFans. Thanks for watching, and get on the bandwagon.